excited to show you the newest features of CognigyAI today. And before we're going to get started with the new features, we're going to give you a quick overview of CognigyAI in general, because there is a couple of people here on the webinar today that have not seen CognigyAI yet and don't really know what the platform is and what it can do. We say that CognigyAI is a highly flexible conversational automation platform to build advanced integrated enterprise virtual agents for customer and employee service on chat and voice channels. So it's really about automation. It's about automating service processes in customer service and in employee service. Employee service can be things like HR or IT support. It's really about building advanced integrated enterprise virtual agents. So virtual employees that work in your enterprise that are smart because they're using artificial intelligence and that are integrated with your existing business systems, such as your CRM system, ERP system, e-commerce system, HR systems, or others. And we can do all of that on a variety of channels, on chat channels, such as WhatsApp, Microsoft Teams, web chat, Facebook Messenger, and many others, but also on voice channels like Alexa, Google Home, or on the telephone line. Now, if we look at how Cognigy works, I think this diagram here shows it very nicely. We start on the left side where we have the channel. So the channel that the user is coming through, the channel that the user is using to talk to the virtual agent. As I said, that can be a chat or a voice channel that then sends text to us. If it is a voice channel, there's usually a transcription step before that. So using speech-to-text technology, we're still getting text at the end. Then Cognigy's AI engine kicks in and uses natural language understanding to figure out the intent and the slots that were delivered in that text that the user is sent. So if someone, for example, says, I want to order a pizza with ham, the intent could be order food, the food is pizza, and the toppings are ham. If someone says, I want to order a pizza with ham, but not cheese for tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., then we still have an order food intent. The food is still pizza. The toppings are ham and cheese, but cheese has a negative marker on it. And we have a date slot, which is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. The results from the AI engine are then passed into the conversation logic, which is our automation layer, and which is the layer that interfaces with existing backend systems, right? Like Zendesk or SAP, Microsoft Systems, ServiceNow, and so on and so forth. And the conversation logic can then use data from those systems and formulate a response back to the user. So if someone comes in and says, hey, I want to see your specials, we can identify the intent, specials request, and then we can retrieve the specials from, for example, an e-commerce system and pass those back into the channel that the user came from. And that what we pass back, the response, it can be text, or it can be specially formatted text for voice called SSML, or it can be media such as images, videos, structured data, or it can be commands if the channel you're talking through, for example, is a car, right? We could say, hey, show me the way to the nearest Italian restaurant, and then a command is passed back to the car to adjust the nav system. Now let's look at conversational voice bots. And to realize conversational voice bots in the enterprise, we've partnered with AUDIOCODES. AUDIOCODES is one of the premium suppliers in the voice over IP space, session border controllers, and associated software. And we've partnered with them to bring Cognigy voice bots to the enterprise. AUDIOCODES has a product called the Voice AI Gateway. And the Voice AI Gateway is the glue between four components. It's the glue between the outside telephony world. So this can come directly through phone numbers, through the SIP protocol. It can come from your UC platform, your contact center like Avaya or Genesys, or even like Microsoft Teams, WebRTC through the web. So any voice stream can be received and is then passed on to a speech-to-text API of your choosing. Right? You can choose a cloud provider like Microsoft Azure or Amazon, or also on-premise providers like Nuance, and the voice is then converted into text in real time. This is all streamed, so it's really fast with no delay. The resulting text is then passed into Cognigy, which then does all the nice Cognigy things that you already know of and passes back some answers to the voice AI gateway, which turns these answers into spoken language, again, by using any API that you want, and passes the spoken language back onto the phone line. So you can no longer create your bot, just create your bots on the chat channels, but you can actually now create them on any voice channel that you want. You can even escalate to human agents by passing commands from Cognigy back into the voice AI gateway. There's a large number of commands, not just for escalating to human agents. You can set silence detection timeouts. You can turn off caching for privacy reasons. And there's many advanced enterprise features that the voice AI gateway and our integration comes with. And it's integrated out of the box now. So it's really just 2 clicks, creating an endpoint and sending the endpoint information to AUDIOCODES, and then you can call your bot immediately. And the nice thing is that, yes, it is also available as SaaS, but it is also available on-premise, just like Cognigy. Just to recap how Cognigy works, I'm not going to tell the whole story again, so just very quickly, we have a channel, a chat or a voice channel that someone speaks to. Text is received by the AI engine, extracts intents, goes to the logic, and the logic then shoots responses back into the channel. Now, there are cases where we might want to intercept the incoming text and do something with it. We might want to store it into another database, or we might want to shoot it against a sentiment analysis engine, or we might want to filter out certain words. Similarly, we might want to hook into the outgoing messages events. We might want to reformat them, or also lock them into a database, or maybe translate them. And previously, this has been impossible. The only way you could in any way impact conversation logic was in the Cognigy flow editor. So what we've done here, we've essentially opened up our endpoints to developers, meaning you can code directly inside Cognigy AI in the endpoints and hook into the various events they expose. And whilst this might sound very technical, bear with me. I'm going to show you 5 examples of amazing things you can do with it. But to give a general overview of endpoints, so you can hook into the input events, output, inject, notify, and flow completion events. And you can manipulate data while it's passed on. Just like the code nodes, it has full TypeScript compatibility with typings. You can make HTTP requests from within the transformers, which is something you can't do in code nodes, to interface with external systems, and all that in a secure manner. There's session storage, so a cache that you can access from all transformers, and you can log into the Cognigy AI logs for debugging. And we have made many examples already available on GitHub, so you can check out the transformers there. So let me give you some examples of why endpoint transformers are extremely powerful and extremely valuable to our partners and customers. The first one is connecting a new channel. Imagine a new messenger comes out, or imagine you live in a country that has a specific messenger that's really not being used anywhere else, but you want to use Cognigy to enable your customers to communicate with you through that messenger. So that's a new channel, and previously only Cognigy could build new channels and include them in the product. But now that power lies with you. You can connect any new channel you want yourself without having to contact Cognigy. So let's take Telegram as an example. We don't have a Telegram connector, but now we do through the transformers. A message arrives from Telegram in a Telegram specific format. Now we take this incoming message and format it into the Cognigy format and pass it on. AI does its thing, conversation logic does its thing, shoots out some answers, and now we get a response, which is of course formatted in the Cognigy format, and we reformat that into the Telegram format and shoot it back out. Now all this is super simple. If you look at the code on the right side, that is the whole code you need for the Telegram transformer. And it's even formatted, so if we would take the formatting out, it would probably be something like 15 lines. So you can hook into the input and output events, and you have full control over the inputs and outputs, and you can even make HTTP requests from in there. So it's really simple to connect new channels. Now the second one is chat handover. So we spoke about handover before, and now you might say, well, you already have handover, don't you? And we do have handover, and we have handover integrations with the likes of RingCentral, User-like, and others. But maybe there is an agent tool that you're using that we don't have an integration with, and you don't want to rely on Cognigy to build that integration, right? So again, what you can do here, you can intercept an incoming text and check, are we currently speaking to an agent or to the bot? Are we talking to the bot? Okay, pass it on to the AI. Conversation logic determines we should actually be talking to a human and initiates a handover. So we set that. So the next message that comes in from the user, we check, are we talking to an agent? Are we talking to a bot? Are we talking to an agent? So we make a HTTP request against the agent chat. Now, when the agent answers, that again triggers a HTTP request, and then we shoot the message back to the user channel. So you can now integrate any agent chat that you like yourself without having to rely on Cognigy. And you do that by making HTTP calls and making use of the dedicated session storage that we have to store the state of the user. You can hand the conversation to the agent, and of course you can hand it back as well. Then there's the transforming of content. This is actually only an output transformer because, as you might know, we have graphical editors for various channels, web chat, Facebook, Google, Alexa, but for some channels we might not have. And what if you've written all your content in your web chat channel, but you want to reuse it on Facebook? Previously, you had to go in and copy your content into the new channel. But what you can now do, you can just use an endpoint transformer, and when the message is going out, for example, to Facebook, take the web chat content, copy it to the Facebook channel automatically, and then shoot it out back to Facebook. So it makes it so much easier for your content editors because they can now reuse the graphical editors that you saw in the demo and that you also see on the right side here. And you can then compose your content once and use it everywhere. Right? And that is extremely powerful because you no longer have to copy things all the time, but you can really build it once and deploy it everywhere. And now comes my my favorite transformer, which we actually just built for fun, but it's so cool that I definitely have to show it here as well. And that is the translation on the fly. So you saw the mobile demo earlier, and this bot is built in English. The NLU is in English, and the outputs are also in English. And it's not just textual output, it's graphical output. So what we've built is a little transformer that takes the input text, and maybe it's in a different language like Danish or Japanese or whatever it might be, and translates it into English. We're using, for this demo here, we're using Microsoft Translator, and the results are actually quite amazing. So it takes the Danish text, translates it to English, shoots it against the NLU. The NLU believes the user input is English, so it works really well. Shoots it against the logic determines the output. The output comes. Now the output transformer translates the content back into the input language, which was Danish, and shoots it into the channel. So it's actually really simple, and it's really powerful because now you can translate your bot into any language essentially on the fly. Now you might say, well, our translation tools aren't that great. Well, that's true. But imagine you're an airline and you have your bot available in English and German, but now you also have constituents in Turkish, in Chinese, in Japanese, and whatnot. Well, what's better, making them use the English one, or at least offering a translation so that you have at least the possibility? And with translation technology getting better and better, I believe that in the near future, we'll have so good translation technology that it's going to actually deliver near perfect results. So let's have a look at that, not just in the endpoint transformer itself, but also here on the web chat. So we have a web chat which we call the web chat translate. It just links to the main flow of the mobile bot. And down here we have the transformer function, and you can see you write the transformers directly in Cognigy, and what it's doing is essentially just shooting something against the Microsoft Translator. And we've defined the input language here, which is in this case Danish. And if we open this up and get started, you can see that now the bot is in Danish, and we haven't made any changes to the bot itself. So now maybe we remember this means show me your plans. And here we now see the plans and everything is in Danish. Or here this one was where's the closest store? Presumably I don't speak Danish. This means give me your zip code. So we give it the zip code, and there we go. And we get some of the results in Danish. Now we can do the same thing in several languages. We can do it also, for example, in Japanese, right? Just maybe for the fun of it, let me bring that that one up as well. So here we have our transformer again, and now I go in and change it from Danish to Japanese. Save my transformer, open the web chat, and now all of a sudden the whole bot is in Japanese. So I think this is a really nice example just to see, okay, what can we actually do with the transformers? Something that was completely impossible before. Now, last but not least, for those having a regulatory compliance things and so on going on, you can of course also take your inputs and outputs and store them into some logging databases if you have to, or really interface with any systems. As I said earlier, you can enrich content through sentiment analysis and other tools. You can filter content based on external rules, right? If there's certain words that are being said that you cannot trigger on. Like we had a manufacturing company, an electrical manufacturing company in Germany, and if certain words were said that indicated a military purpose of the inquiry, then this was not allowed to be answered and so on. So this is the kind of stuff you can do with these endpoint transformers. With that, I want to say thank you very much. It was great showing you what we are bringing out in Cognigy version 3.5. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and we are very much looking forward to seeing what you guys are going to build with that.